Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's John T.
My name's Andy.
Good evening, gentlemen. We are here and fit and firing this week. I was struggling last time out, really was struggling, but I feel much better tonight and almost without a hitch. The whole site's gone down, but apart from that, everything's fine. Hopefully that'll be resolved. A few host difficulties, but everything else is marvellous. How do we find you, Granville? Are you in good form?
Yeah, I am in good form. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to have a little bit of a go at you, actually.
Okay, I'm bracing myself. I can't imagine what you're going to hit me with, but
I'll say that one till later.
Fair enough. John, to yourself, feeling all right?
Yeah, doing well. I've noted that I've got the highest score out of all of us this week. Not by much, but it'll do. I'll take that.
He loves a bit of a gloat, doesn't he? Andy, you're shaking your head. I don't blame you. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, ignoring hits, I think I've actually got the highest score this week, so yeah, I'm feeling good about that.
Andy, you're not at home. I'm missing the leather sofa in the background. What's going on here? You in some kind of different location?
Yeah, I've actually, this weekend I've just moved house, but I'm not even there right now. I've actually had to come around a friend's house, so I don't have internet, so dedication to the Scoutcast.
Look at that. Right now. So you've hijacked his house, have you? Does he know what you're doing there? Does he know you're recording a podcast in his house? Does he? Okay, he doesn't
Yeah,
mind.
he's actually got everything set up here because he does a lot of stuff like this himself, so he's at work right now, so I've got the keys and ready to go.
La-di-da. Have you had a roll in his bed already then, Andy? Or?
No, that's where his magic happens, not mine.
Yeah, my own surroundings are a bit different. It's so hot in the Scout Hut tonight, I've had to leave the main door open, which any moment now a wolf could come in, a bear, or minutes ago there was a next door neighbour shouting at their cat or calling their cat, so that might come out on the recording. I hope not, because yeah, I'd rather that than a bear or a wolf though. Good evening, it's the Scoutcast. We're going to talk nonsense, as you've already heard, but we're mainly going to talk about fantasy football and the nonsense surrounding that. Game weeks, we're going to look at our individual game weeks. We're going to look at the community game weeks in Rough for the Smooth. It's back, isn't it, John T?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, people with worse and better weeks than us, obviously.
Is there lots of moaning going on, or you know?
No, there's fairly little common ground. A lot of shared players.
Okay, and then we've got community questions. What's in those? Man United, Hull. What else, John T? Anything else?
Oh, we've got Man United, Hull, Arsenal, who have very good fixtures coming up. Spurs, Everton. Firmino, what to do with him?
Okay. I know exactly what to do with him.
Benteke, Man City defence as well. What's going on there? And
okay. Have they got one?
Well, they do actually, and we'll come to that a bit later. May surprise you actually. And also going to find out about some of our regrets and whether any of us are considering wildcarding over the international break.
That is a jerky knee time. A goals imminent's coming surely at some point. If you got,
goes without saying. There are goals imminent table will get a mention.
It wouldn't be a John T Scoutcast about the goals imminent. Granville, I must say to you, this is episode 195. I don't know if you remember back in the day, way back in the day. I made a reference to everyone's favourite sitcom, Last of the Summer Wine. And I said that personally, I it's not my cup of tea, Last of the Summer Wine. And I said the ambition for the Scoutcast would be that we would make more episodes of this than Last of the Summer Wine. This is 195. I checked in on Last of the Summer Wine, who are no longer producing episodes. You'd be glad to hear, or some wouldn't. But they made 295 episodes, so we've got 100 to go.
If you like change that, 295, I thought it was more than that.
No, 295. I checked on Wikipedia and that never lies. So we've got 100 more of these to make. Isn't that depressing, Granville? You going to make it?
Of course, I've missed some of them, haven't I? Because I went off in a bit of a strop last year. But yeah, well, I've probably done 100, maybe 85 of them. That's enough.
You're a bit like Clegg. He went missing, didn't he, for about 20 episodes, and then he came back later on, something like that. Or they change the actors all the time, don't they? But yeah, well, we'll do our best. 100 to go. We've got to do it. Got to make it. I cannot rest until we've made more episodes of this than Last of the Summer Wine.
We could just equal it and then give up.
Yeah, that'll be it. We'll retire at 295. Absolutely, that'll be fitting. Okay, John T, let's talk about our game weeks. You thought you came top, so you might as well start. I don't think you did, but go on, off you go.
Well, I have, because Andy took a points hit. So Andy got 71, take away 4 is 67, and I got 69 for the week. But we both had Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We got him in quick before game week 2, and just in time to see our front lines. I'm stealing Andy's tale of the week because we have quite similar teams, but yeah, it's we had Ibrahimovic, Aguero, and Andre Gray. What a front line, absolutely huge. And I captained Aguero. So did so many other people, obviously. There are a few other points here and there as well. Valencia chipped in with a bit. Hazard got me a bit. Big once again. I got almost 20 points on the bench though. Kapui again on the bench.
He's going to hold us all season like that.
Scored again. And once again, I got the goalkeepers wrong. Now I know Mark will be talking about goalkeepers for his team, but yeah, I have Heaton and Foster. Picked the wrong one. And Foster came in 2 points, Heaton on my bench with 10. 1 week, I'm going to get that right.
Awfully unlucky, Jonty.
You can be excused. You can be excused for that.
Yeah,
you certainly can. I think you made the right choice. It just didn't work.
Play the fixtures, but we're being hammered by that, unfortunately, with goalkeepers.
I gotta say, Jonty, I saw your Ibrahimovic. I've got to learn to say that because I'm going to be saying it quite a lot. Ibrahimovic tweet before the deadline, and then when his goals started going in Friday night, I was incredibly depressed. Very low indeed. It was, it wasn't good. Yeah.
See, I'm going to have a little bit of a moan because I would have got Ibrahimovic and Lamella in had it not been for Ayew getting his injury. And I did say this last week, and it's cost me, hasn't it? An injury has cost me points.
So how did you do, Granville?
Well, I got 55 points. It's all right. It's a bit meh, but I'll go with that. There's only 11 behind you, and I would have only been 1 behind you had you not struck lucky with your jammy goalkeeper. Jammy goalkeeper substitute auto sub.
I'd like to point out my caption is it's not like it's squad depth. That's exactly what it is, Granville. You've got to have that squad depth.
Have you ever had points like that from your
I don't think I've had double figures from the keeper coming off the bench now. It was very, very fortunate, I've got to say. When Valdez didn't turn up on Sunday, I was looking forward to Sunday's game, thinking, well, at least I've got a player in this. You know, I haven't got Negredo, but Sunderland Borough, I didn't expect to have anyone in that game. So I was looking forward to seeing Valdez play. And then when he didn't play, my instant reaction was, oh, Jesus, I've got no keep. And then I was like, oh, hello, Mr. Heaton.
Isn't it? Because when you get points on the bench and you know you've got another day to come, you also kind of say to yourself, oh, I hope such and such a player doesn't play, and then I'll get his points off the bench. But it probably never occurs to you that you'll get points from your keeper.
Never expected it. Expected it. Yeah, it was a bit fortunate.
Anyway, my game week was it was okay. I mean, I've got Shaw, which is I guess the only thing that went right over everyone else in the Scoutcast, because you've all got Valencia, and I stuck by Shaw because I said at the beginning of the season I would have him, and I wasn't put off by his performances. I must admit, after the first game against Bournemouth, he wasn't really getting forward. I was thinking, have I made a mistake here? But I think things turn around, and maybe the introduction of Pogba into the team has really helped him.
Oh yeah, hugely. I mean, that was the factor. Pogba was on the left of the pivot, and he was almost level with Rooney. If the members can look at their average position match game, you'll see. And
also
your space was in the ball.
Yeah. And something else is that Martial seemed to be drifting all over, and he wasn't occupying that space quite as much. I don't know. I haven't looked at the average positions, but that's what it seemed to me. He was doing a bit of a Rooney and just floating about, and actually coming quite deep for the ball. Yeah,
well, Pogba's changed everything, absolutely everything. They were a completely different team. I mean, obviously they were at Old Trafford, and at Bournemouth, I think Mourinho will play differently away from home anyway, so it was going to be different anyway. But you throw Pogba's in there, his energy was ridiculous. I mean, he ran 80 yards in the last minute, didn't he? There was a shot. It was. I think he's just superhuman. He's ridiculous.
He looks like
held off for that though.
He's got time in the ball, hasn't he? That's the first thing I noticed. He's instant control of the ball, and then he's got time to do what he likes with it, and he runs with it. He makes a killer pass. He's such a good player. So I'm quite looking forward to watching him play. Anyway,
we're going to talk about him later, I'm sure. But 55 points go. I got the 66 of Heaton off the bench. I mean, yes, very fortunate indeed. I can't claim otherwise really. It was a decent week in the end for me then because of that. I got it was okay. I obviously got Aguero captain and Andre Gray got me the points. He delivered. I needed one of Firmino, Gray, or Kane to deliver. Kane got me an assist, and in the end, Gray came good. So it worked out fine. But the Heaton thing was an added bonus. Andy, your game week then, you took a hit. What was the transfers you made?
I took out Vardy and Ericsson for Lamella and Ibrahimovic. That was actually one move I almost did just before the deadline of game week 1. So I know we're going to come on to regrets later, but one thing I wanted to be this season is less stubborn. So even though I tried to do it the week before, I still just went for it. And there's a few reasons. One, I wanted to make sure I caught some price rises this season because last year my team value was awful, and in the end it didn't matter. But this year I think it's going to matter a bit more. Yeah. And obviously Pogba being there, I just had a feeling he was going to. Well, no, I think everyone thought he was going to make the difference, and he did. So, and obviously when Ibra took the penalty, it was brilliant. And then like Johnny, really, I had Grace. That was great. I think we said last week it would be just like Liverpool to go put 4 past Arsenal and then lose to Burnley, and it happened. So, and then defence not really much going on there apart from Valencia, and no real midfield score apart from Hazard. So yeah, all coming from up front, and I've got the big 2 in now, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was interesting, the Shaw-Valencia thing. I'm not panicked because Valencia did get forward a bit enough. He had as many touches as Shaw in the final third, I believe, but I think Shaw just got unlocked by Pogba's energy, which was just scary stuff. John T, the community, let's see how they got on. Any extreme tales, or is it fairly middling?
Well, the smooth bit is very, very kind of middling, really. So lots like myself and Andy, and including one of the posters, Van Dijk, had the Aguero, Ibrahimovic and Gray front line. I mean, that was the key thing really to a good week. Eden Hazardous, one of our regulars, he played Max Gradle, didn't play, and then so that got Capui's 9 points off the bench. So someone has actually benefited from Capui's points.
Capu at last coming off the bench for someone.
Not so for accounting on Chris. This is in the rough section. He put Ali in front of Capu on the bench, and Ali's point came in, and Capui's didn't. So that was sad there. A few other roughs as well. Bowstring the Carp and Susie, they both captained Firmino, so they really had some faith in Liverpool against Burnley there. Lots, including Kings of Leon and myself, picked Foster over a scoring keeper. And PKW, Captain Lamella, I mean, that's
Maverick stuff, isn't it?
Maverick stuff. It didn't work, but hats off to him for doing that. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, or the Firmino captaincy. I mean, I guess we expected Liverpool to turn Burnley over, but it was a 83% possession, and yet they couldn't score. I mean, does that say more about Liverpool or Burnley, do we think?
I think Burnley were very organised. Like I watched some of the highlights, and they always seem to have those 2 banks of 4, and Liverpool just couldn't break them down. There was lots of long-range shots from Coutinho, which we kind of were discussing last week. 8
efforts on goal, he had.
Yeah, but wasn't 7 of them from outside the box, I think? Something like that. It was quite a few. So they seem to restrict them, like from what I saw, and I didn't watch the whole game, but they had all that possession, but not that many like really, really good chances.
I have to say that I did mention last week that I was a bit worried about playing 2 Spurs players, and it happened. I mean, I think because their performance against Everton was a bit dire, I had a feeling that they would struggle at home, but I still went with those 2 players because I really wanted to get rid of Ali last week. But anyway, I went in with the 2, and they didn't really perform at all. And I don't know what happened with Lamella because I hadn't actually watched the game. But Ali came on later on, doesn't he? And the 1-pointer. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny how the Janssen situation has now thrust Lamella to the fore because, I mean, Eriksen went off after an hour, replaced by Ali, and Pochettino's got a problem now. If he's going to play Janssen, how is he going to accommodate that in midfield? Because Kane seems to be dropping back into the 10, which bad news for him, bad news for Ali, and could be Eriksen as well. Could be he had that season where he was subbed almost every game on 70 minutes. Yeah. That happens, and he's going to be dead in the water as well. So suddenly it's Lamella. It's all about Lamella. I'm not sure I'd captain him, Mr. PKW, but he does look a good option. So Andy, you got to be pleased for getting him in at last. You expect big things from him then?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so. Like, he's had a good pre-season. I think the start of this season plus the end of last season, he's doing well. I think he's like 7 goals and assists combined in the last 8 games or something like that. So I'm just hoping he can carry it on. But it was more just to fund Ibra. But it doesn't look like right now Eriksen and Ali are anything to be worried about. So yeah, I'm happy to have him.
Fair enough. Okay, John, to community questions. We're going to talk about Man United a little bit more.
Yes,
will come up, won't he?
Yes, we do. So Ibrahimovic, accounting on Chris, asking, is he now essential? And I'm going to combine this with another question from a poster, Ricardo Vaz, asks specifically you, Mark, about that last season you infamously made the case that it was possible to go without Aguero, and it didn't work. But he believes that you could actually make that case, and a stronger case, in terms of going without Ibrahimovic this season, because Aguero is clearly a great captaincy option. So, I mean, I'll ask you that first, Mark. I mean, do you think? I mean, I suspect you've probably got Ibrahimovic in now, but do you think there is actually a case for saying that you could actually go without him if you have Aguero?
Your suspicions are founded. I have got him in. I got him in Friday night. I couldn't watch any more of that. I think I think under normal circumstances, I think yes, I think you could cope without Ibrahimovic if we had a Vardy and Kane option that were firing. Right now we don't. We don't have a Vardy who seems to be hitting the target. We don't have Kane who seems to be dropping back into the 10. We don't have Lukaku at the moment. He's played tonight, but how fit is he? What will he do? How consistent will he be? So that those three options are gone, and those three would be the obvious replacements if you didn't have Ibrahimovic, I would say, unless you're going to go with two 6.5s, like a Negredo-Gray combination. So I think at the moment there aren't alternatives there to warrant not having Ibrahimovic. I also think that Ibrahimovic is a little bit scary. I mean, I was watching the first game at Bournemouth when he got behind that free kick, and I just looked at him and went, well, I don't know what it is, but that just petrifies me, because it looks like he's just going to dink this in quite simply. Everything he does just has menace about it.
Yeah.
And I looked at United with Pogba in the team, and it scared the life out of me, because I'm just thinking, well, Southampton are a decent side, and they kind of bullied them at times. And Pogba's first game, he hasn't even got going yet, so I think there's going to be matches where they're just going to steamroll people, and Ibrahimovic can just goal hand effectively and just convert his chances, and he is very good, probably one of the best in the world at converting chances. So, well, I think the case is too strong. I think
he scored 3 goals in 5 shots. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, that's great strike rate. I mean, the thing is, what we talk about, we spoke about this last week, is that with a strike rate like that, not many players can keep it up. It just kind of feels that maybe it's a bit lucky. But when you watch the games and you see, you know, I think it's his stature, his presence on the field. It does make you worried. It does, and it makes defenders worried. And that header, I mean, when he put that header, I mean, I was going to get him anyway this week. I was going to get him last week, but when I saw that header, that just made up my mind that there's just no way that I can ignore him. I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic. And if he can score goals like that, so he's going to get 25 this season, I think, at this rate, and he may only get 30 shots.
Well, he'll get that many goals in a good United team, and on Friday night that looked like the makings of a good United team. Now, I actually think, and I said tonight, the digest is going out at 10, it's just gone out, that I thought United would take time to get going. I thought they'd have to learn how to play attacking football again, and Mourinho's not an attacking manager, but it worked straight away against Southampton, who are a decent side, a middle table side at worst. But I just think that, I mean, what are they going to do to Hull? I mean, Hull, yeah, okay, they've had a great start of the season, but going into game week 3 without him and watching that Hull game at 5:30 on Saturday would have been like Doctor Who, Saturday 5:30 behind the sofa back when I was 8 years old. I just wouldn't be able to, I'd be cowering, basically. I couldn't bring myself to do that, so I got him in. Andy, your thoughts? I mean, you've got him as well. I mean, is it a no-brainer?
Yeah, for me it was. I think, like I said, his price was rising. He seems to be, or United in general seem to be getting better and better. I think, as well as Pogba, Fellaini is actually, I know it's only 2 games, but he's played really well. And the way he's playing as like a more of a defensive midfielder this year, rather than the one that gets forward and like wins the ball in attack, is he's allowing Pogba to get forward. And he will pick up the ball and drive, which is allowing Ibra to stay further forward. Because in the first game, he dropped back quite a bit. Whereas in this one, I haven't checked the maps and stuff, but he seemed to be, from just watching the game, to be further forward the whole time. So he's not going to keep up that 60% strike rate, but hopefully as the matches go on, he's going to get more shots to compensate for that. And then I think also, at some point, the assists are going to come too. I think Martial looked a bit better. He's always floating about. Mata, you know, he's probably not going to be running onto too many balls, but I think eventually Mkhitaryan's going to get that spot on the right. So yeah, I think the assists are coming, and hopefully he'll get more shots and be able to keep up the goal record.
John T, yourself, what's your thoughts? I mean, you had him before game week 2, so you're laughing.
I mean, I planned to get him in. I mean, I kept 1.5 in the bank. I thought Vardy had a better first fixture. I was wrong there. I kept 1.5 in the bank. My intention was always to get him in, and that's what I did. Because as you said, it's scary. Him and Aguero are scary. They are in a class of their own, and they're worth the money. Once you got them in, you just, takes a big weight off your shoulder. You've got a captain every week. And chances are you might not even get the captaincy wrong every week because they're both going to score very similar. What I find perhaps slightly more interesting, I think it's almost like a given that Ibrahimovic is a player to have, is Pogba, because we talked about Pogba's influence, and a couple of posters, President Giggs and Beavis, asked, do we think it's actually worth getting Pogba in the near future? So we talked about Pogba's influence on others, potentially making Shaw better than Valencia, obviously with Ibrahimovic. But could he actually do the business himself in terms of a point score? Well, I think so. I mean, let's have a look at some of the stats in his first game. So he's not just helping out, he's actually getting shots in the box. In fact, he had 3 inside the box, same as Ibrahimovic. He had 5 penalty area touches. Ibrahimovic had 7, so he's just behind there. He created 2 chances. Rooney created 2, Mata created 2. So he's got that as well. He's got the assist potential, he's got the goal potential. One of his shots was on target as well, so that's the same as Marshall and Rooney. So he's on a par with them. And he popped in a cross as well. So he's a little bit of everyone in the Man U side. So he could get assists, goals. So I mean, I'm starting to think. I mean, I have a thing about these types of players like Aaron Ramsey, Yaya Toure. I think they're absolutely fantastic. They're a bit of everything. Great for a fantasy point of view. I'm going to give him another week or so, but I'm actually tempted to get him in, definitely.
And 8.5.
If he's going to put in those kind of Yaya Toure, Aaron Ramsey kind of marauding centre midfield type, returns in terms of goals and assists, and we know he's on penalties as well behind Ibrahimovic and Rooney. He's 3rd in line, so a couple of early subs and could be a penalty for Pogba.
Long shot there, though.
Long shot, but 8.5 bargain.
You've got to watch Pogba's numbers, and if he keeps repeating those kind of figures, and the chances he gets, the shots he gets are quality in quality areas. We've got to take him seriously as an asset. I don't know how quickly his price will go up. United players soar up quickly because of the support they've got out there in the FPL community. I don't know. I think there are better options just at the moment. But I think we're going to have to study it and see how he does in the next 2 games. Going away from home as well. I mean, it was an Old Trafford game against Southampton, a lot of emotion, but let's see how it works out at the KCOM. Andy, your views on Pogba?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see a bit more first. I mean, he got, I think it was 8 goals and 12 assists last year, so that's 20 combined, which is similar to like Eriksen, Ali, and Firmino. So price-wise, he's probably priced pretty well. He's going to be the one out of the 2, him and Fellaini, if they're going to be the 2 that stick, he's going to be the one to get forward. So he could well get the points. I'd just like to see how that plays out a bit more going forward before I invest. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And Granville, your views on him? And are you going to jump in or?
Not the minute, but there's Rooney and Martial who probably would be ahead of him in terms of attacking, but they are more expensive. I think, something to monitor. I've got 2 United players now. There's no reason I can't get a 3rd. I think if I was to drop anyone, it maybe would be Mahrez at this minute. We'd have to see. I'm not going to jump out yet, but that could be the trade.
And what do you think? Rooney dead to us because he's a forward, so you're not going to get.
Well, is he the? We were talking last week. Is he the alternative? Is he a cheaper alternative to Ibrahimovic? I'm not too sure he is. He'll still be scoring points, but he takes up that vital forward spot, and we've got Aguero and Ibrahimovic, and we need a cheapie. So I just don't think he fits into anyone's team at the minute.
Yeah, I think going back to what Andy said earlier about not being stubborn, on Friday night when I was thinking about going back to the question about the Aguero policy and the fact that I was sticking to that and trying to see it out, I just think I can't afford to do that. I mean, I got punished for that. Not too severely, but at the time there was other options available. Right now, I just don't see Kane in the transition that they're going through. Tottenham with Janssen playing and Kane dropping out, and with Vardy, who's just not on it at the moment for some reason. I just don't think there are options there. And I think I've learnt my lesson over the seasons that as soon as you make a mistake, and hands up, not going with Ibra early on was a mistake, you've got to address it quickly, because the moment you start going week after week after week trying to stick to your guns, you're going to get hurt. So I think those of you out there are kind of go, well, no, I want to stick to my no Ibra policy. Think twice about it because I just don't think there are alternatives right now.
I should just explain my my subtitle under my name. It says Friday night double tranny, and basically on Friday night I did a double transfer. So I got Ibrahimovic in, and did what I was going to do first week, and switched out Lamella. Switched out Ali. Who do you think I got for Ali? I was tempted by a couple of players, but who do you think I got?
How much money did you spend? How much money did you have left?
I had 8.5. No, sorry, 7.5 left.
Barkley.
So that gives you a clue.
Barkley?
No, because I got a De La Fea.
Oh, go on.
No.
Who did you go for?
I tell you, I didn't get Tadic in the end. I was close to getting Tadic, but I got Cazorla.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Johnson, you got Cazorla.
But I just like the fixtures, and I just think that Arsenal at some point. I mean, I'm worried always about not having an Arsenal player because at some point they're going to click. And so I just figured, well, yeah, let's go for it. I didn't really want Ramsey.
Wow.
There you go.
I don't know about that. Jonty, your views on that? He's your looky-likey. What do you think about that?
Well, I like Cazorla a lot. He's great. But I'm not sure about Arsenal at the moment. They haven't got Özil, they haven't got Giroud back. Sanchez is playing out of position. They're all over the shop, really. And I want to, going into the international break, I'd like to see them, one final time, game week 3, and then have a look, because we're going to talk about Arsenal a bit later.
Well, let's jump to that question now. For Kings of Leon. Yeah, Kings of Leon raises the fixtures of the Arsenal situation.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's. Arsenal have very good fixtures. So Kings of Leon asks, with Arsenal's fixtures picking up, should we be looking at getting coverage? He suggests Özil, and we have Payet. Another poster asks, should we be looking at their defence, Bellerin in particular? Now Bellerin got bonus points last game week. So
of yours, of course, Jonty.
Yeah. So Arsenal, yes, they've got Watford away, and then they've got Southampton, Hull. Bit of a dodgy one with Chelsea, game week 6, and then it really hots up. Burnley away, Swansea at home, Middlesbrough at home, Sunderland away. I mean, that block of 4 there is absolutely amazing. So I'm kind of looking at that, because I'm looking at Southampton as potentially tricky, and Chelsea as I think quite tricky. But from game week 7, I think there's plenty of time. But yeah, it could be Cazorla, it could be Özil, it could even be Giroud back as another striker.
Are we agreed that Cazorla is going to be the penalty taker?
Yeah.
I mean, I did have that in the back of my mind.
Yeah,
I think when he's on the pitch, he'll take penalties, but it's about that. Is when's he on the pitch? I mean, I don't know. Like, he played number 10 at Leicester. He's not going to play there next week because Ozil will be back. So I don't know where he's going to find room for Cazorla in the team when he's got Ramsey, and he's got El Nani, Xhaka, Coquelin. He's got so many options.
Yeah, but it's got set piece delivery. I just think I saw him when he came on at that last week. He did impact the game. I don't think you can afford to leave him out. Actually, I mean, especially at the start of the battle. I don't know. I think Walcott would be the one to give way. Actually.
Oh yeah, he'll be first to go, I reckon. But I think there's others that he'll need to find room for. We'll see. I think that's a very interesting signing. Maverick stuff from Granville. Should we talk about Hull City? They deserve a mention, don't they, Jonty?
Indeed. Well, it's Kings of Leon again. He's back with the questions. So what are our thoughts on Hull? Tough fixtures, but as he points out, no rotation. They haven't got a bench.
No, that's true. It's got to be the lowest rotation risk we've ever seen.
Now, Kings of Leon is a massive fan of Robert Snodgrass. Absolutely huge. He's got the Snodgrass duvet cut set, everything.
Is there such a thing? I'm going to look that up.
Right, he is pivotal to all their attacks. So he's saying, are they the real deal? And there's another player I'd like to mention as well, Curtis Davis. If people are playing a game like FanDuel, for example.
Monster, isn't he?
Very stats heavy. He's an absolute monster. His CBI, which is clearances, blocks and interceptions, is 39.
In 2 games. So
in 2 games, that's huge.
He's actually got the most CBI in both game weeks. I've never seen that. He got 21 in the first week and 18 last weekend. That is pretty unprecedented. I mean, it's like you'd expect him to get high CBI away from home. At home, less so, but I guess they're playing Leicester. He's going to mop it up again against Ibrahimovic and United. Surely they're going to be looking for Davis to try and shut Zlatan down. He's going to get loads again, isn't he? It's just, I mean, we talked about him before, about when they get a clean sheet, Davis is going to mop up the bonus points. And in FanDuel, he could be the top point scorer in the whole game.
But get this Curtis Davis stat. This is even better. So if you look inside shots inside the box, now Hernandez, he's right at the top there. So you'd expect him. Yeah, he's got the most, 6. Number 2 is Curtis Davis. There he is, Davies. There he is, with 4. So he's putting in a Scott Dan at his peak style performance at one end of the pitch, and Ashley Williams at his peak at the other end.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's a shame he's 5 million though, isn't it? Well, if it was 4 or 5, it would be no brainer.
That's the trouble. I mean, would you spend 5 million on a whole defender when you know they're likely to concede every game?
There might be a window where you might double game weeks. He'll be straight in if they got one, and if they got a run of 3 or 4 fixtures. But tough one, isn't it?
That's exactly what they don't have, right? Like, I know people are already like maybe tongue-in-cheek touting them as the next Leicester, but you know it's United, Burnley, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea up next. I don't think I'd be investing. Maybe if you need a cheap midfielder, Snodgrass would be okay, but I'm not in any rush. And I think the nailed onness, yes, but there's loads of players that we can pretty much say are nailed on. So I don't think for me, I'll be investing in Hull anytime soon.
Kings of Leon, though, I do love Snodgrass. I think he's a great player. Set piece, right and left foot, loves a shot, got a goal first week. Yeah, he's a quality player. It's just, is he going to stay fit? That's the thing. He had that terrible, he busted his kneecap a year before last, and I don't know. But he's definitely playing. When he plays, he's absolute quality. And 5-5 could be an option. I don't know. I'm reserving judgment. Spurs, Jonty, next team to come under the microscope, I believe.
Right. Well, we all know the Dembele theory. For those that don't know, when Dembele's not playing,
have you mentioned it?
I'm going to mention it in terms of it's been superseded by something else.
Oh, so go on. Thank God for that.
Dembele theory is that when he doesn't play, the whole team doesn't play, and Harry Kane in particular. Mark got Harry Kane in game week 1. Obviously, didn't listen to the theory. It's been proved right. But let's forget about that.
Yes.
There's a new one. There's a new kid in town, Janssen. So he's come in and he's completely ruined everyone's hopes and dreams. So he's ruined Kane even further. So Kane's suddenly like a number 10. Ali didn't play. He was ill, or was he ill? We don't know whether he was ill or not. But we just assume he was. But where does he fit in with that? And then Eriksen. Where does Eriksen suddenly fit in as well? So I mean, I'm a big fan of this guy. I mean, he's owned by 1.8%.
You've got him in your scout pick squad, haven't you?
And I put him in my scout pick squad. I think
you're never going to win that argument.
Well, no, I'm not. But this is it. So I know in our scout pick squad, for those that don't know, we have it's kind of brings forward the scout picks discussion into the public domain. And we've already had a little bit of this, and Paul has quite rightly pointed out that Spurs' next opponents, Liverpool, have the best record in terms of shots conceded this season so far. They have a very, very tight defence. Or do they? Because the stat I'm going to throw back at him is they've conceded 5 goals, and that makes them on the joint worst defence with Stoke.
Honestly, these stat wars, that's how bad they are. Between you and Paul, it's like we should sell tickets for that kind of madness. It's crazy stuff.
But Janssen is part of that. Now he had some really good stats. You know, he was top for shots inside the box, top for shots on target, top for big chances for Spurs when they played Palace. He was their best player. The stats say he was the most threatening player, and he's also getting the chance created as well. He got a couple of them in. So yeah, I think for those that are really ultra maverick. Janssen.
It's a difference. He's 8 million though, isn't he?
I think you're trying to push something which is just not going to work. I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to get him. I just can't see anyone going with him.
That's what I said. If people are after a maverick choice, and it's good to offer something a little bit different because it'd be a bit boring if we just said, "Oh, I'll get Gray or Negredo and double up with Aguero and Ibrahimovic." But it's nice to. There are people out there who like to do a little bit different, and
he could break out, Jonty. You could be in 10 weeks' time. We could be trying not to remember what you said when you said that Janssen was a good player and one to watch. We would try and deny that.
He will keep reminding us. I promise.
On Twitter, probably.
It took you 13 weeks to believe the Dembele theory. So yeah, I'm willing to wait 13 weeks.
I don't believe a word of that. Okay, noted. You put your flag in the ground there with Janssen. Janssen flag is there. We're noting that. We'll make sure you get due recognition. should he come in. Everton, should we talk about Everton? I've got vested interest in Everton now. I'll tell you why in a minute, but go ahead, go on.
So Pompey fan asks, is it too early to bring in Lukaku? President Giggs asks, is Barkley still a casual pick? Say something significant, who's supposed to asks, how good a pick is Kevin Morales? And just lots of other people, including one of our posters that got asked, just which Everton assets to get. The reason they're asking that is Everton have good fixtures coming up.
They do.
So, yeah, I mean, well, Mark, you said you had a vested interest. What is your vested interest in?
Yeah, I've gone Firmino for Barkley. There you go, done. It's done deal. Gone. Firmino's out and Barkley's in. I did it before. I did it last night. I did a City move. I didn't expect him to play tonight in the League Cup, but he did, and I was crossing my fingers he's come through that okay. He scored. He got an assist again tonight. So he scored and got an assist in his first 2 league games. Scored and assisted tonight. He captained Everton. He looks nailed on. Could be on penalties. I don't know, but I just think I like Balassi. I like his unpredictability. I like what he does on the pitch. I don't know if he's a decent fancy asset. I love Morales as a player. I've gone off him a bit when he started taking Leighton's points off him. But I think Morales is a good option, and he's going to be my fancy on the risk. There we go. I've got that out there already. He's mine. You can't have him.
It's not really a risk, is he?
But I don't know.
Is still a further forgotten man then, Mark?
Yeah, he's going to go.
Already.
I mean,
it's 4 weeks. He had a great pre-season. All of a sudden, I mean, I admit I've gone for the wrong one. And I think I did this. Well, I went for Deulofeu instead of Barkley, but I think I did this last season as well when I had the chance, and then Barkley went on a run. And then I did end up getting Barkley. He did absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, he went.
He's a frustrating player. He's a frustrating player to own. So bad luck to you.
But the thing is, he's 7.5 and he got 8 goals and 9 assists last season, I think, or it could be the other way around. So he got decent returns last season. And at 7.5, if he gets me 10 goals, 10 assists, that's pretty good value. It's just, am I going to get him in that window where he gets all his run of form, and then I can get rid of him? What was that, Andy? Sorry?
If you're going to try and get someone on a run, then with Everton's fixtures, it's got to be right now, I think. Like, he's actually risen up to 7.7 at this point. So, yeah, I like him. I think I didn't get him in last year. I wouldn't have called him a casual pick, but he's not someone I really like. He seems to be a bit like a Coutinho, all the shots from outside the box. We're looking at his stats. He's getting in the box a bit more. Yeah. He's actually had the most shots inside the box out of him, Deulofeu and Morales. I know he's played the most, but he seems to be getting in there a bit more. So, not to bore everyone, but I also may have Barkley and not Firmino next week. And I think just jumping, I want an attacker basically. I don't want to drop any of my strikers for Lukaku. So he seems to be the most nailed on. I just think Balassi is going to cause issues with the rest of the kind of wingers like Morales and Deulofeu. So yeah, but Barkley would be my pick as well. Yeah,
and I think he should have scored at West Brom. He had that point-blank header from Balassi's cross, and had that goal gone in, he'd probably be up there with Ibrahimovic in terms of transfers. He would have gone crazy because he would have then have had 2 goals and an assist in his first 2 games. And at 7.5 at the time, he's 7.7 now. I think it's just the fixtures for me. I need to cover. I mean, last season again, I did this. I looked at the fixture ticker and we wrote the Friskin articles. And I often looked at them and that team have got good fixtures. I really ought to get on that team. Didn't do it, and then lo and behold, the players I was thinking of came in and got decent runs. This year, my resolution is I'm going to go with that. I looked at Everton's fixtures. I need an attacking player in that team, and Barkley was sensibly priced and looks good. So I'm in, Jonty. I'm in. Jonty, what's your views on that?
Yeah, no, I think he's good. I ignored him all last season, and I couldn't even explain why he kept getting all these points. All of his goals just seemed to be lucky, but you make your own luck. He was in the right place at the right time, and then it tailed off. So the first part of the season he was great, and it tailed off. So perhaps we're seeing that same thing again. Maybe that's to do with his training regime. Who knows? But he does look nailed on. He does seem to be in that kind of central midfield attacking role. It's a move I'm really tempted. I was really close to doing the same move, Firmino to Barkley, the other night, and I decided to kind of soak up the price rise that I knew was going to come because there's just too much threat of other injuries elsewhere, and I might still lose money on Firmino and still make that move, because I think at this stage whether you lose 0.2 or 0.3, it doesn't matter. It's that block of 1.5. I still can't afford certain players, and I still can afford some cheaper ones. So yeah, I think he's a good, but it's a bit kind of gamesmanship really. It's not a player that kind of sits well with me. It doesn't particularly excite me too much, but can't deny it. He's getting the points,
And
that's what it's all about.
Beginning of the season, isn't it? Last 3 seasons, he scored first game of the season.
Mm.
It tells you something. Maybe it is his training regime. Maybe he has a good summer and then comes back comes back fit.
The way I looked at it
I
as
don't know
well
what it is
is
for him.
Big Sam's named his England squad on Sunday, and Barkley needs a place in that team, doesn't he? He wants to be his number 10, I'd have thought. So I don't know, he's going to be up for it, I think, come Saturday. It's a good fixture at home to Stoke. I think Stoke are letting in goals. I think that's a good option. Okay, the reason why I did it as well before the price rise is I've got 0.9 in the bank, which allows me to possibly do Gray to the next man we're going to discuss, which is Christian Benteke, Jonty.
Okay, so right, well, yeah, Mike Harborough and Seymour Bling ask, what do we think about Benteke? Is it too early? Should we wait and see, or just take the plunge now? I mean, Palace, have quite a good fixture this game week. He played and was subbed off early in the League Cup this midweek. So he's clearly back, and he's had a little run out. He's been training. I mean, he's not unfit. I mean, I suppose he lacks match fitness. For me, I think waiting. The other reason I think that is because it's not like he's just signed for Manchester United or Manchester City or whatever, or Arsenal. He's signed for Palace. And it's not just because I'm a Brighton fan. It's because Palace are in that bracket of teams a bit like Stoke or Swansea. You don't really know what's going to happen with them.
Oh dear, I hope Hardy doesn't listen to this.
Or Aston Villa.
Or Aston Villa even. I mean,
he scored his goals.
Yeah, but he scored the goals there. But then I was looking at his stats. I was thinking, I think I'll have a look at Christian Benteke's stats last year, see when he actually played. Because thinking, well, when he did get his chance at Liverpool, surely he took him. I seem to remember lots of goals, but comparing him with players like, who you've got to compare them with, really, not just for price, but in terms of his stature. Players like Vardy and Kane. If he's meant to be that good a goal scorer in a worse team like Palace, and he really wasn't putting the sort of shots and chances away with the kind of regularity that you would want. But having said that, I'd like to wait and see. We've got this international break. For me, I'd like to just have a wait and see approach. But for me, no at the moment. But I don't never say never with him.
Firmino, I think he's coming in for me. I think he'll be a successor. I can't see how he won't get between 10 and 15 goals at Palace. I think he will. He's got to keep them up, I think. So he'll be on penalties. They put in more crosses than any other team last year. Pardew knows how to get set pieces going as well. We saw that. My only concern is I've got Townsend, who I like as a player, and I don't know if I can go with Townsend and Benteke. So I've got Barkley in to give me the 0.9 in case Benteke catches fire home to Bournemouth. If he gets 1 or 2 goals, he's going to fly, and I wanted to be able to get in straight away if that's the case. I want to wait and see as well, but I just want to be ready in case he does just ignite. Andy, your views on Benteke?
Yeah, I really like him. I think he did do it at Villa. Maybe not quite as good last year, but he didn't. It's not like he had a run of games as far as I can remember, to play in. So I think he's obviously going to start for Palace. I think he'd be a good option. Like you, I had intended to make that Barkley move early so I could afford him, potentially take a hit this week, but now I'm not going to be able to, so I'll probably give him a try. But I would be tempted to go for him this week. I think the next 3 fixtures are really decent. He's definitely going to be in the side, and he's probably going to be on penalties. So yeah, I'd side more towards Mark on this one, I think. And if you're happy to take a bit of a risk, go for it.
Okay, Jonty, Man City defence. Let's talk about that. This shouldn't take long, should it?
Well, no. Do the Van Harlem shake? It's supposed to. He asks, is Stones now a waste of money, or will the Man City defence come good? So yeah, they have conceded goals, and clean sheets. They just haven't had them yet, but it's only been 2 games. So I had a little look at in the members area stats tables, having a look at shots conceded. So the worst, Burnley and Middlesbrough, they've conceded the most shots inside the box. So they're bad. Hull have been riding their luck as well, so 19. And then you go all the way down to the bottom, and just there on 9, Man City, so less than half there. So they've done really well there. They've actually got a very stingy defence. They're not letting much past them. But what they are letting past is going in. So that's not good. Similar for Liverpool. So I think there is promise there, like with Liverpool. So this depends, like I was talking earlier about Liverpool and Paul pointing to Liverpool's very stingy defence, and me pointing to the fact, well, they've actually conceded quite a lot. But Man City aren't conceding as much as Liverpool at the moment, just 2 games in. So it's very early to tell. But I think there's promise there. And I think once Guardiola gets a new goalkeeper in, and once he's got his midfield how he likes it, then I think Stones will come good.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've got to think that I don't expect Stones to get me clean sheets every week. I don't go into the game week. I play him every week, and I think, well, he will get clean sheets because I just think that City will eventually start suffocating teams with possession. They haven't done it so far, but I noticed the stats as well. They haven't conceded too much. There's no alarm bells ringing. You just got to be patient with Stones. I think there's that kind of instant reaction that, well, if I've got a defender from a team like Man City, I expect him to produce for me. But he's $5 million, and you can't even get Scott Dan for $5 million. So I just think that it's a decent price, and so you've got to be realistic about the fact that clean sheets are going to come, perhaps not when you expect them. You can't look at the fixtures of City and go, that's going to be a clean sheet. They could keep a clean sheet against United, for example. That could be a very tight game, tactical battle between Mourinho and Guardiola, and it could be 0-0, and then you'll get one. So I think they are coming. I think you just got to stick with him because he's good value. I stand by that.
They have only played Sunderland and Stoke, so conceding how many shots have they conceded? 9. That's not such a surprise. I mean, Liverpool have had much tougher fixtures. Burnley, okay, but Arsenal, they are going to concede more. I don't think we can judge too much off two games, and quite often Chelsea have done the same. They just conceded a single goal. It's not. I don't think it's when you're conceding single goals. It's not too bad. It's when they're conceding 2 and 3 that you think, well, we're never going to get a clean sheet here. Single goals, and they're quite fortunate. I think against Sunderland, it was just about their only chance when Defoe scored that goal. So I think you'd be fine with Stones. The only thing with Stones is I don't think you can get much attacking output.
I'm also worried that there's no way I'm going to be able to get Kolarov at some point this season. Just not going to be able to find a way, am I? Andy, views on John Stones?
Yeah, I mean, the one goal thing actually happened last year with Spurs. They had the best defence in the league, but they kept conceding one goal. And from a fan's point of view, that's just as annoying almost as 3 or 4 because you lose your points straight away. I do think they haven't conceded that much. The goal against Stoke was a soft penalty. I saw it earlier. I don't think that should have probably been given, so they probably got a bit unlucky there. I think Mike Dean was just compensating for the first one that was given. Next fixtures, Bournemouth at home, and then United away, and West Ham at home. So I think you could see 1 or 2 clean sheets there. Like Mark said, the United game could be really tight. So
yeah, they got West Ham on Sunday. So it's a test, but West Ham don't have Andy Carroll. They've got problems up front.
No IU either.
They've got Bonnie actually. I think they just got him on loan.
Has that been confirmed?
Someone said.
Well, he won't play on Sunday if he has. That's fair enough. That's fine.
No. So because I think Carol Lynch in there again.
Yeah.
It's a motorbike just gone through the Scoutcast.
No, it went past someone's window. It's definitely not here because I'm in the back room.
Door. It was definitely a motorbike. Just drove through the Scoutcast there. Evil Knievel. They're after Bonnie. Would be a very good signing, I'd have thought, once he's up to speed. But that would take probably 5 weeks. So yeah.
So who actually? Talking of double defense. I mean, double defense. Who would you actually go for? I mean, who are your bankers for defenders at the minute? It's not just about keeping clean sheets, is it? I think United and Arsenal. Well, maybe not Arsenal, but I think United have the best choice at the back.
Yeah, I think you've got to have
Blind and Shaw.
You've got to have one of Valencia and Shaw, I think, and I think Stones is too good a value. So I've got those 2, and then from that point on, I'm just going to mix it up. I think whenever I've got transfers that I can spend in defence, I'll use them to get good fixture defenders in. Until then, I'll just take a punt with one of my 4 or 5s and hope that they do it. I've got fires to put out elsewhere at the moment. I want to get Benteke, I think. So if I don't, then I'll get a defender in going ahead of going week 4. But I don't know. I'm treating defence at the moment like I don't think defences have settled down yet. I don't think it's clear where the value is right now. So I think it will happen 3 or 4 weeks time.
Weren't you going to spend your first transfer on a defender? I can't remember now. I mean, it's only last week.
I was gonna. Yeah, I saved 0.5. I saved 0.5 because I thought in my head I would go Van Dijk to Azpilicueta, but I've kept Van Dijk and he's got Sunderland at home at the weekend. That's going to be a nice little option for me. So I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, that was
Chelsea.
one of the things I was going to do. Azpilicueta delivered, but they've conceded as well. So I don't know. Defence, Jonty, what's your view on that? Are you exercising the same kind of policy, wait and see on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as Granville mentioned there, you've got to look at. I think you've got to look at attacking returns and bonus point potential as well as clean sheets. I think clean sheets, as ever, are hard to predict. But I think, yeah, the usual ones. I mean, looking at Arsenal's fixtures, I think an Arsenal defender is good. That's going to be costly to get Bellerin or Koscielny, but it could be worth it. And yeah, I think eventually Man City is they're not going to be letting in these kind of silly goals. I think Liverpool could potentially keep letting in these silly goals though, and I think Chelsea will probably tighten up as well. Tottenham, another one. I think Walker was priced lower than Rose. They're both playing, and they're both good. Walker's already got an assist in the first game week. I think there's more to come from him. I think Spurs have got good fixtures. I mean, those types of players, the fullbacks, your Valencias, Shaws, Walker, all of these types of players, they offer something as well. Because clean sheet's just a bonus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think we've got to wait a few more weeks. I think before we've got enough data to realise what's going on there. And I've got Johnny Evans, who's going to go to Arsenal anyway, so that'll be my 4 or 5 defender. It's going to be a bonus for me. Okay, final question, Jonty, comes from the Sergeant, I believe.
Yeah, the Sergeant, and I've linked this in with another couple of questions about wildcarding. So yeah, the Sergeant asks, what's our biggest regret so far? And then Trust John and Darryl T ask whether we're wildcarding. So have we got so many regrets that we're actually considering wildcarding? So let's... Andy first. We haven't asked Andy the question first, so let's go.
Yeah, go for Andy. Go on.
What's your biggest regret so far?
Yeah, I think just because I had to take a hit to do it, I suppose the biggest regret would be not starting with Ibrahimovic, because we all met up pre-season, and I was going on and on about Ibra. He was definitely going to be in my team. Luke Shaw actually the same, and then when it came down to it, I just didn't do it. Didn't go with my gut. So yeah, I think he'd be probably my only regret right now. I think other than that, I'm pretty happy with my team. And in terms of wildcard, I've actually never, even before the changes, never held a wildcard past game week 4. And right now, I think it's looking pretty good just to hold on to it. We were discussing before the show that one of the big things is the bench players, because last year I lost money on players like Huth at the start of the season weren't keeping clean sheets, whereas this time I got Kapui, Heaton and Foster as my goalkeeper combo, and they're getting points, so they're not going to drop in value. So I've not got any major issues I can't fix with maybe a point hit or something. So I'm actually pretty happy, and much happier than I thought I'd be with my team right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. When you've got a couple of players, I had Gomez. I got him in early, Joe Gomez at Liverpool, and he did well for me a couple of weeks. Then he just slid in value, and I never had the time to get him out because I had other transfers to make. They're like bitty things in your team that really trouble you, and I don't know. I haven't got anything like that at the moment. I got lucky. I got on Capu straight away. I haven't got Ben Foster. That's troubling. I got Valdez, but he did me a favour. So I don't know. I think my biggest regret is the Ibrahimovic thing. I backed Kane. I thought he would start the season strongly. I thought he had good fixtures. I thought Ibra would take time to settle. I thought United wouldn't get in the groove. That's all been wrong. But like I said earlier, if you make a mistake, I've learned that I've got to put it right quickly. There's no point in trying to stick with it and go, no, I'm going to stick by my guns. I might do that later in the season over something else, but I wasn't going to do it over Ibra. Granville, your biggest regret? You got a few?
Double Leicester, I think. Just the way that they look now, I thought they'd just continue on from last season. I thought Mahrez was just shooting, and Vardy was. I wasn't sure whether to put in Ibrahimovic. I had him in a draft team, him and Lamella, and I went the wrong way. But the worst thing is really Leicester, and they don't look like the team at all of last season. Who knows? They may turn it on again, but they do look a little bit lost.
I just lost about Kante, aren't they? I think he's a bigger loss than anyone maybe realised.
Can that really make that much difference?
Well, I think he won a lot of ball for them. He turned the ball over, didn't he? And that got him going quickly. That got him breaking, and he could carry the ball as well as winning it as well. So I think it is a big loss, but I want to see them against Swansea. I think the whole game, away from home first game, you can't really judge them on that. Arsenal, it was a very, very, very kind of average match all round. They kind of cancelled each other out. Arsenal didn't show much ambition. They didn't have a striker playing really, and it was all crowded. Swansea, if Mahrez doesn't deliver against Swansea, I'll start getting a bit worried. There's this Mahrez Hazard debate, and I know where Jonty stands on this. He's firmly in the Hazard camp. I'm still backing Mahrez. I think he's not going to regress as much as people think. I don't think so. I think that Mahrez needs to deliver for me.
Penalties as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Penalties this year are going to make a big difference.
big difference it seems. If Mike Dean's got anything to do with it. John T, your regrets?
Well, yeah, I mean, similar really. I started the season with a transfer in mind, so I planned to get Ibrahimovic in game week 2. I thought Vardy was going to go absolutely crazy with goals in game week 1. Was really wrong there, and I think that was a mistake in hindsight, because I made the move from Ibrahimovic. Better late than never, and it didn't cost me any points. But if I hadn't, if I'd got him straight from the off, not only would I have more points, but I'd have 2 free transfers this week, and I'd potentially better save one going into the international break, and maybe have 2 there. So it's cut down my options a little bit. But same with wildcarding, I don't feel a need. There's a few changes I can make, but yes, those annoying little players. Capu, I've got right. Not losing too much value. Goalkeepers, Heaton, Foster, absolutely fine. I've even got a Stoke defender in for when their fixtures get better. So I'm even planning ahead for game week 7, 8, that kind of area as well. So not too worried there. So
pretty happy. It's kind of first world problems, first world FBL problems for us. Well, nothing serious, no major surgery required. Everything's all right. And there's no tremors yet, but we'll see. It can all go very wrong. Game week preview. Let's look ahead to game week 3 then. The first before a dark week, the international break. Let's make the most of it. Who wants to start us on clean sheets? Andy, do you want to pick one out? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Go to someone else first because I haven't had a proper look at this yet.
Okay. John T, you'll be prepared. You're a scout.
Yeah, Chelsea. I'm going to back the stats on this one.
You do surprise me.
Chelsea have been very tight in defence, but they have conceded. I don't think Burnley are going to be a match for them away. I think they'll get the better of them. I think that's a good clean sheet.
Granville?
I'll go simple. I'll go for City at home to West Ham. West Ham they're struggling. I mean, that Payet, I don't think he's fit. He wasn't fit to start the weekend. He's the one who makes them tick. And now that Carroll's out, I don't know where the goals are going to come from. City are tight.
Fair enough. I'm going to go Palace because I love Mr. Dan. Scott Dan will be in the scout picks if I've got anything to do with it. And Bournemouth don't have a goal scorer. I mean, I look at the teams. I looked at the stats, and I think Burnley and West Brom are the 2 teams who've had fewer shots, but they've both got strikers who can score goals, and I don't think Bournemouth have at the moment. Callum Wilson's been disappointing. I was expecting big things from him, but he hasn't started well. So I will go with Palace at home to Bournemouth. That leaves you a very small pool of talent to draw from, Andy.
Yeah, I think hopefully Ashley Williams is going to start this week, so I'm going to take Everton against Stoke. Then they could keep a clean sheet there. But yeah, I'd maybe back United against Hull, but I think Everton will be my pick this week.
I know John T's looking forward to seeing those CBI figures from Ashley Williams at the weekend. He can't wait for those to roll in. Okay, let's go fancy on this. John T, you've got your man. Go on.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling. A few posters. We've got a community article on that as well. People can have a look on the site on that. Raheem Sterling has changed. Guardiola clearly likes him, and he's altered him. And he's looking really good. He's got a couple of assists already, and he's looking very good source of assists, and he could even get some goals as well.
Okay, so what do we think? What would it take for us to get him, sign him? 8 million. What would he have to do? Would he have to score a couple of goals at the weekend, and then you'd think about it?
Just score 1 goal, because he's got 2 assists, and then so if he scores a goal or he gets 2 assists, then he's getting attacking returns in 3 out of 3 games. That's consistency.
Yeah, he actually. The assist at the weekend could have easily been a goal. Like another time he could have just shot. It was pretty much an easy shot on goal, but he went for the pass instead. So he was actually my fantasy island risk in game week 1. I actually really like him. I think he's doing well this year. So I'm tempted. If he was a little bit cheaper, if he was 7.5, I think I'd get him in. But 8 million, I think you've got to have a bit of a think about it.
No, I want him to do well. He just needs a goal to get his confidence up. You can see at Stoke, he's got that extra yard of pace. There's something about him at the moment, and he's going to be good. If he starts delivering, that's just what we need, because we spent so much money up front. We need someone like him to take the place of a heavy hitter for 8 million. Would be perfect. I'm going to go Kevin Morales. I mentioned him earlier. I like him as a player. Always have done. Very selfish, very direct, goal scorer. He didn't play tonight in the League Cup. He's at home to Stoke. Everton are going to win that, I think, comfortably. I've got Barkley, but if you're looking for a differential, and he probably will be one of our differentials, Morales is your man. Jonty, I've been to you already. Granville, you fancy on
me? I should go for Cazorla because he's my Maverick pick this week, but transfer this week. But I think I'm actually going to go for Janssen. I think Liverpool conceding a lot, a lot of chances, and I think Spurs are going to score in that game. If he starts, there's a good chance he'll get a goal.
That didn't take long for Johnny to convince you.
No, he's done it.
Yeah.
Good choice, wise choice.
Yeah, the stats have done the talking, John T. There we go, yet again. Okay, transfers. Let's go through it. Transfers and captain. We've already done it. Andy, have you done yours already? All done?
I need my fantasy island risk because I'm recording these at the moment, so I need to pick mine.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I missed you that.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to pick Crystal Palace. I'm not sure if he's going to keep starting. I'm surprised seeing it, but Lee Chung-Yong, I'm going to go for him.
Oh yeah, he's starting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for him, I think.
Blimey, that is Maverick. Fair enough. I think I picked him about 3 years ago once. Yeah, I think.
About time to return then.
He's the Bolton player, ex-Bolton.
Yeah. Player. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, transfers. I think have we all committed our transfers already? Is there anyone here who hasn't yet made their transfer? No.
I haven't made a transfer.
Okay, so John, you go. You might as well do this. You might as well go. Because what are you going to do? Tell us.
It's one of two things. It's either Firmino to Barkley, or it's Gray, who has a terrible fixture this week. He also has a bit of trouble with the FA hanging over him. We don't know how that's going to pan out. Rondon is a player I like, and he costs the same. So that's Rondon. Yeah, it's one of those two. I don't know yet, but I can do either, and I'm going to wait as well. So I'm going to suck up some price falls and rises along the way.
I'm going to play some mind games here. I think they're going to do Barkley, but.
Regarding captain as well, so I'll just get my captain out as well.
Okay, go ahead.
With me, it's between Aguero and Hazard, I think, and I'm going Aguero because he plays last.
Zlatan isn't in the equation, then?
No, not for me, not because I've got Hazard. You see, so those of you with Mahrez, you don't have that.
You do fancy Hazard this year, don't you?
You don't have the luxury of a third captaincy choice. But,
you're not going to back Hazard.
It's like doesn't get jammier than that.
Wow.
Worst defence in the league against a Belgian rocket of a player.
Wow. The thing is, Aguero's going to be top of the captain poll.
Yeah, I probably will go for Aguero, but Hazard's the second choice. But Ibrahimovic is third choice.
How much time have you pondered that Hazard captaincy, I wonder? It's brave talk, gutsy stuff. Andy, are you going to be equally brave? You're just going to go Aguero, aren't you?
Yeah. I actually have Hazard and Ibra as well, and it's a bit like Firmino last week. If it was later in the season I was chasing, then I'd look at Hazard as a potential differential, but I just don't want to back against Aguero right now, especially at home. And then transfer-wise, very boring. I'm also looking at Firmino and Barkley, but I'm annoyed that I missed the price rise, so it's kind of putting me off a little bit. But Firmino looks like he's going to drop soon, so yeah, he's on. I suppose, as we mentioned, he's actually on the goals imminent table for Firmino. So I'm sure if I drop him,
you've opened a window for John to read through there.
I think he's on there. I think he's on there. Johnny will be able to confirm.
Do you know what, Andy? I'm really pleased you mentioned that. Also on the goals imminent table is Tadic as well. So people are selling him in their droves, and he's there. I think he's going to do well. Got Townsend there as well. Another one, goal imminent. De Bruyne, home to West Ham. Harry Kane sneaks in, but I altered some stats to kind of put him in just to show. But Janssen is the one out of those Spurs players, and Firmino there. Llorente's still there, still hanging on. I think he could be. I think he could be there forever.
Yeah, he's going to be hanging in that goals. Okay, Granville, your transfer and your captain.
What? I was just going to ask, why on earth are people getting rid of Tadic? I was thinking about getting him in. At home, he's got Sunderland and Swansea in the next three. At home.
Mad, isn't it? Lunacy.
Madness. What was the question again?
Captain and transfer.
I don't need to tell you my captain because I think you know it. A transfer, and I've told you what they are.
It's all done, yeah.
You don't need to come back to me.
No, it's all fine. It's all fine.
Ibrahimovic, Cazorla for a hit, and Aguero captain.
Maverick stuff. I thought I imagined Kafula. I can't quite believe it. That's why. I'm going to go. I've done my transfers as well. Ibra's come in and Barkley's come in, and I've got high hopes for both at the weekend. But Aguero's going to be my captain. I'm not that silly. Yeah, I do think Ibra could do well at Hull, but Aguero at home to West Ham, he's a machine at the moment. It's just, I just don't see. Yeah. The question is, when will he? When is it right to captain Ibra over him? That's going to be the question.
When Aguero's injured.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is what we haven't discussed tonight, and I've said it in the digest. Ibra and Aguero have kind of forced our hand now. We've got little money to invest in midfield, and suddenly it's all about mid-price midfielders. Maybe it's going to have to take an injury to shake it up again. Maybe this is a template. It's going to be very, very solid while they're fit. So I don't know. Maybe it's not such a good thing, but at the moment it feels good to have them both, and I'm very, very relieved that I haven't got to go through Friday night again.
Just wanted to bring up game week 4 because Man United host Man City. So who do we cap? That's as soon as we're back from the international break.
I know.
And who do we go for there? Now that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
You know what we're saying though, because is Aguero going on one of these long trips halfway across the world, and Ibrahimovic is retired from international football, so he'll be well rested. Could be the one where we do captain him.
But Aguero did that, I believe, before the fabled game week 8
against
Spurs 2 seasons ago, where he came back with a bit of fatigue and then ended up.
So air miles count for nothing, Granville. It's been a pleasure. I felt fully match fit tonight, which is a bonus. That was good. Thanks very much for joining us, Andy. John T with your community questions. And your rough of the smooth, which was excellent to have that back. And Granville, always a pleasure. Remember, John T, Granville picked out Vincent Janssen. That was his pick all along, right? Nothing to do with you. It's a good night from me.
Good night.
Good night from me.
And good night from me.
Good night, all.